I want to
Anyway,
say, here we are. And I want to say in Irish to you, Dirit Carmel.
Dies Muragwich, Arita.
Now, do you speak Irish?
No, but I like everybody, I did it in school.
Yeah.
And recently I've been learning Shano singing. So I've been trying to get it into me in that way again, like listening
Right.
to all the Irish words, and it's really nice. So it's like when people are talking, I know what they're saying, but I myself, if I started to speak, I would just be translating directly from English. It wouldn't be flowing out of me. Do you know what I mean? It wouldn't
I
be.
see. I
And
see.
it's also because, like, after school, after college, I went to Denmark and I learned Danish in a much more natural, organic way. So,
Oh, wow. I
so,
see.
so if my brain is switching into another language, that's the one it wants to switch into. Do you know?
I see.
Yeah.
So what's the name? What's the name of that singing you mentioned just now?
Shanos. So you have Shanos, singing, and you have Shanos dancing. And
Ah,
it just means old way, really. It's like the old way. Shan is
okay.
old. Shan is old.
Okay. So I'm going to make a note here to go and research that, because maybe that if that's something that you've been doing, maybe that's something that we can bring into our exploration.
That would be cool, actually. That would be really
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, I'd really
And
like
then
that.
Shano singing is always sung in Irish, is it?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, there is traditional Irish traditional singing that is in English, but Shanos really generally means Irish, yeah.
Wow.
And it's unaccompanied singing, and it's all,
Oh,
nearly always about it's all love and loss, and can be very sad. And most of the songs, most of the most beautiful songs are very sad. So I would think it's
really?
kind of pretty similar. I would think to
Fado?
Fado. I was going to say
Yeah.
that exactly.
I was
Yes,
just thinking, yeah. Yeah, same thing.
yeah,
Fado is always so sad and tragic and
yeah, yeah.
no. Okay, brilliant. I'll go and research that.
Okay,
Um,
cool.
so very
So
happy to be here with you.
you
And
too.
I learned something recently. So I've been doing some sessions around performance and disability and access. And one of the things that I've learned recently is that it's useful, of course we have the subtitles, but it's useful for us to describe ourselves and where we are. Just if somebody has a visual impairment. I don't know if you've done that before. I've done it a couple of times now on Zoom sessions.
No, but I'm happy to do it. Yeah.
Okay, so why
Yeah.
don't I go first and
Okay.
then you go. So this is Rita talking here. I'm wearing sunglasses because even though it's not that bright, it's already like a bit too bright for me this morning. I have too long, COVID long, straight black hair, shaved on the sides. And I am sat outside, and behind me, you can see a little bit of a door and some walls, and they're like pale green. And this is a cabin that's just by the piece of land that I'm going to be working. So over to you, Carmel.
Okay, and this is Carmen speaking now, and I wear reading glasses, so I'm putting my glasses on and off as we're talking, because if I sometimes need to see things, I put them on. Otherwise, I don't wear glasses, and I can't really wear sunglasses, even though I would like to, because I think they look so good always. So maybe I can wear them when I'm just sitting there, and I'm sitting. So just behind, I'm under a very, very old ash tree. I don't know how old it is, but it's very big, and it's the biggest tree here on this square where I am. And this square is almost a full square of houses, but there is a little gap over to one side where you can hear the traffic coming over from there. And the gardens here are surrounded by railings, by black railings, so you can see through, but yet you're still, when you're in here, you're not in the traffic. So it's quite nice.
And Carmel, you're in Glasnevin.
And I'm in Glasnevin
Dublin.
in Dublin, and I'm very near the graveyard and very near the Botanic Gardens. Yeah.
I think a lot of people will know where you are. I have no idea where you are.
Yeah,
I've never, but I hope to visit you one day after this whole COVID thing.
Yeah.
And I am in the land of Cloughjordan Community Farm, which itself is within Cloughjordan Eco Village.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thanks for doing that, Carmel.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
So I suppose one of the principles of how I make work is that I don't usually make work with a specific intention. I mean, of course, there is a concept, but I try not to make work about with a very specific intention. Or so what I mean by that is that I like to make work first by engaging in play, in a lot of play, non-directed. Like, we're not trying to make a dance even. We just, I don't know, we're exploring the right foot, or we're exploring camera, or we're exploring text. And so at the beginning, I suppose the people who have worked with me in the past have said to me that it's a bit confusing because you don't know what you're doing or where it's leading. But then my experience is that so I keep kind of zooming out and sort of reading what's coming out of the explorations, almost like I always think of the work not as something that I'm making or you're making, Carmel, but as something that emerges, like the work wants to be, some work wants to come into being. And so I keep like engaging in play, then zooming out and going, oh, what does this work want to be? And then I zoom back in, and then I zoom back out, and eventually myself and often the collaborators see it. And then once we see it, we then move on to this other stage of the process, which is much more directed. It's like, now we know what we're doing, and now we're just going to make it do it.
Okay.
How does that feel?
Yeah,
to you?
that's fine. That's fine with me. That feels good. Yeah, that feels good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. So
I
you're
trust
happy to kind of engage in kind of.
Oh yeah,
like,
I
different
totally
kinds
trust
of
that.
explorations. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's good. Okay, great.
That's I think I prefer that anyway than like directive, you know?
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Great.
So
great.
probably it's the second part would probably be more difficult for me
Yeah.
than the first part. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I suppose the second part will come out of your own exploration. So it will feel like it comes from a place that you know. Like, yeah. What I'll never do is teach you movement ever. That's not what I do.
Okay.
I'll just give you tasks, and then it's up to you to do them your own way. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, that makes total sense. Cool.
Unless you want me to, but I don't really.
No.
No. Good.
No.
Okay, great.
No, it's funny. It's funny because that's what people always, anytime I have done anything to do with dance, people sort of say, "Oh, you'll have to teach us then how to dance." I'm thinking, no, it's like I've never learned how to dance. I mean, that's not, I've done lots of movements to dance, but I have never really learned how to dance. Yeah.
No, it's beautiful. I love it like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's good. And then, so just to zoom in on the process a little bit. So,
okay.
So those explorations, sometimes they will just focus on text. Sometimes they might just focus on movement. Sometimes they might focus on, I don't know, camera work. And of course, there's all these things have the other elements in them as well. But what I like to do is kind of invite both of us to kind of zoom into one thing, explore it as the thing, and then zoom out, leave it, and then zoom out. So yeah, so they'll take all these different kind of modalities, and then what tends to happen is that, sorry, let me do a Zoom thing that I've never done before, which is to come out of Zoom. Can you still see me?
No, I can just see your picture.
Oh, okay, but you can hear me all right.
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, I've never done this before on a phone. So now I'm going to look at a photo that I took earlier so I could know what I wanted.
The photo with you with the shovel.
Oh, no. This is a photo of some
text. Okay. Are you going to try and share?
Yeah, no, not really. I'm just going to read from it. So it's not that important. I can send it to you after, but so that's like stage one. All those different elements, and then And then you see what tends to happen is that we will find things that we both like. Or I really like this piece of text, or I really like, crawling on the earth or something. And then, so I'm just going to stop for a second because there is a tractor coming by.
Okay.
I know, I love this. I've never done a rehearsal like this before.
No, me neither. It's like, really, it's like, yeah.
Okay, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly.
Okay, so then we might find some elements, and then we do this thing I call like we explode them. So if we like to crawl on the floor, we're gonna go, hello, okay, let's crawl sideways, let's crawl backwards, let's go. So we take one thing that we really like and we keep like exploding it in different ways.
Yeah.
And then we go deeper into it, we excavate it, and then eventually we do this thing that I sometimes call in my process contaminating. So eventually we'll start going, oh, what happens if we put this movement with this text? What happens if we put this camera work with this movement? And then eventually we go, we can see it now. This is the work. And then we see the structure. So
okay,
that's kind
I
of
like
the
that.
process.
Yeah. I
okay,
like that.
Brilliant. So I'm gonna go back.
Yeah.
Zoom now. Wait a minute.
So exploding and contamination.
Yeah, an excavation.
An excavation. I love all those terms, right? They're also, and somebody yesterday mentioned isolations to me, and that's again, yeah, when you're just repeat.
Good.
Yeah.
So let me make a note to email you.
Okay.
The terms as well, because
okay.
Okay, and okay, so the last thing though, Camille, is that I was planning this session yesterday, and I was looking at Twyla Tharp, and I was looking some other pieces of research that I had, and then I thought to myself, wait, Rita, we need to take a step back, because usually, of course, this process starts as I've just explained to you, but usually I make work, the medium for which we make work is not a question mark, it's a certainty. It's either a site or a theatre, and so we know. Whereas here we're making a performance to camera, which for me is completely new. And so I actually think that we need a new step, which is the step that I'm going to invite you to engage in this week, which is not at all about the content of the work. It's actually just about the form of the work.
Okay.
So
yeah, because I mean, because also, like, when you would usually be starting work, you would immediately see my shape and body and how I move anyway.
Exactly.
That would be already, you would already have that. Yeah. So you would know where you were
so there's so
straight
much
away.
There's so much that we don't know.
Yeah, but not only, as you were talking with the visually impaired, but it's like we have an impairment in this. Yeah.
That's right. And also, we have functionalities in the kind of work that we're making that you wouldn't have in a theatre or in a site-specific performance. Like I can make a little sequence just for my right eye if I want to, and I bring the phone really close to me. Or you can just make a dance for your left toe, and then you can place the phone somewhere and run away, and I can see you just run. So there's all this experimentation that has to do with the camera.
Yeah.
And there's this phrase that I've seen some artists use that is performance to camera, which is this new kind of format that is emerged out of COVID, which is what it says. You are performing to camera rather than thinking about yourself performing in the site, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Yes, it does. It changes everything. It changes everything.
It does because that's how the audience sees it. The audience,
yes, of course, they don't see what I'm looking at. Yeah,
no, they just looking at. Yeah, they see the screen. So this idea, so these are the things that I would like to explore. I would like for you to explore this week. This idea of performance to camera.
Yeah.
And there is a really good performance I saw last year. That a guy did in there's a festival in the UK, an organization called Word of Warning, and they've started doing these performances. They're called, this program is called The Best Domestic. And one of domestic,
yeah.
Yeah. And one of the performers, I'll send you the link after this session, but one of the performers did this really interesting performance to camera, where he basically started with the phone on a tripod outside in his garden. Then he took the phone with him and we went into his house, and he just kept placing the phone in different ways. But you could tell, Carmel, that it was very highly choreographed. You could tell that he had experimenting with the phone so much that he knew exactly where to place it. So it's almost like a choreography of a phone, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, it does. Yeah.
So I'm going to
say, and he was the choreographer of it. I mean, it wasn't.
Yes.
There was no other technical people there. It was him.
No.
So it was So that's what's interesting.
Yeah. Very interesting. Send the link. So it's his name is Will Dickey, I think, and the work is called White Sun. Yeah. If you can't find it, I'll send you the link after. But I thought maybe this week, if you and I started by watching White Sun, making notes about how Will uses the camera.
Yeah. Okay.
And then come back and then maybe you can do some experiments yourself.
With the camera.
With your phone camera, and then make little videos, send them to me whenever you want. You can even just upload them onto Messenger, or we transfer them or something. So if you just keep sending me stuff, or if you don't want to keep sending me stuff, you can just leave it all. you can leave it all to next week. Like it's up to you, as long as I maybe get to see them the day before we meet again.
Okay. That sounds good. So watch a little bit, get a sense of what he's been doing, and then based on that,
do some experiments.
Or just do some experiment anyway.
But I would watch first, because it'll give you some ideas, and then do some experiments, and then send them to me so I can see what you're doing. And then don't worry too much about the content. This is like not really about what you're filming. It's really about the choreography of the camera.
Okay. And he's Will Wick or Wyke?
Will Dickey, I think.
Dickey.
Yeah. I think so. I might be mispronouncing his name, but I will find it.
I'll find it somewhere. Okay, cool.
Is that okay? And so I think if this week both of us just grapple with the form, what is this form?
Yeah.
Not just choreographing movement for the camera, but we're also choreographing the camera.
Yeah.
Then I think we will know, in a way, this is like our theater, and it's also our audiences will see through this digital theater. And so then I think we can then start going into the content of it. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, it does. Okay,
brilliant.
That's interesting. Yeah, brilliant. That's really good.
Great. Let me look at my notes. Oh yeah, I also have this idea. I've asked John if he could find me someone with a drone in Dublin. And I have this idea. It would be cool to experiment and see what it would look like if your phone could be attached to a drone, and then go up, and then go up, and then you'd be really, and then zoom out from you into Dublin, zoom out and keep going up and show your whole place where you are, your quad, keep going up.
I did with a friend of mine a few years ago. We did the Nelken line down in the town I grew up in Athy, and just as we were doing it and going around, we had a guy filming us. We saw these two guys like with a drone camera, and they filmed for us. Like they did some of that, and we put it into film. It was amazing, and suddenly like they went out and they went in. It was beautiful because you saw the whole, because we were in a place where the canal and the Barrow River are there as well. So you just saw the whole structure, and you just saw us in all these like mad clothes we were wearing. It was lovely. It was like, and it just happened like that. We just happened to be passing by, and they did it. So
cool. Because Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can sort something out for you this week, because
Okay.
also there's something about, okay, I don't know,
Situation?
but there's something about the fact that we're all confined in our homes.
Yeah,
And I mean, that's not to say at all this will be a structure, but in a way, there's like
I know.
three locations where you could play with the camera. One, which is very domestic, like in your own home. And then
Yeah,
the coming out of your home into this bigger space that you have, your allotment in that growing space, which is shared with
yeah,
your neighbors. And then what if then it zoomed out into this Dublin area that you are? So in a way, like
yeah,
we could play with intimacy and scale and domesticity and
yeah.
urban, and I mean all those things I suppose are coming to mind, but they're just very scrambled at the moment. But
Yeah, but it's funny because when I was thinking about your land, I was
yeah,
also thinking about where you're situated in terms of, like one that, that it is very obvious there's lots of other people who are working around you and who will have their own patterns. So I was also thinking about, I wonder what it will look like from above, whether she's interested in creating
yeah,
some kind of a design so that what it looks like from above, that there's some kind of pattern that you're
yeah,
creating,
yeah.
that could be quite nice,
Yeah, that would be
you know,
nice.
that
And
you're looking
actually,
down and you're like, ooh, yeah.
yeah. Oh my
So
gosh.
you can pick and
Okay.
choose
And actually,
according to
there's
color, and you can choose. Then it would give you a different criteria for why you
that
would
is
choose your crop. You
so
know,
good idea. Okay,
yeah.
let me
So
write
that
this
fits in.
down.
It's kind of funny because it fits in with what you're. But I was
Yeah,
thinking, because I've been watching a lot of things, and like, and just that thing about patterns and pattern language, and it's just quite. It makes it's even more important at the moment, I think.
yeah.
Um.
Um, so the thing, Carmel, here is that actually I do have a neighbor who has a drone, so this would be very easily done here. Over
Yeah.
there is that I need to find somebody,
Yeah.
but that is quite a nice segue to us moving on to, if that feels clear to you,
Yeah. That
in
feels
terms
clear
of
to me.
dance research.
Yeah.
um yeah, we can move on to the
Garden
garden.
research.
Yeah, so
Yes.
do you want me to show you a little bit of
Yes.
where I
I
am?
put on my glasses for this
Okay,
part.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I change camera. Okay, yeah, you can see it now.
Okay. Ah, yes, I can see it now.
um
Yeah.
okay, let me go around. No, let me go this way.
Well, I can see people. They're
Yeah.
working.
Okay, I'm gonna just take the headphones off so I can Hey everybody, do you want to say hi to Carmel?
Hello, Carol.
Okay,
Hello.
Carmel, this
Hi.
is,
Nice to meet you. Hey, how's it going? Hello.
I'll show you, well,
You're a bit
you'll
wobbly, but I get a sense of, yeah.
yeah.
Happy out, happy out.
Okay, so Carmel, Torben is one of the farmers.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
hi, Torben.
Taking away ducks, yeah.
Oh yeah, do you know what these are, Carmel? They're called docks apparently.
Yes. Wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
Okay,
Fantastic.
and
Yeah.
now from the right to the left, I'm going to introduce you to some people. These people
Okay.
are all European Solidarity Corps funded young people who are here learning how to grow food. So
Okay,
this
cool.
is,
Yeah. Da, 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 da.
do you want to say your name and where you're from?
I'm from Australia.
Hello.
You're from Australia. Hi.
Nice to meet you.
You too.
Hi.
I didn't catch your name. Hi.
I'm Elise from Turkey.
Hi.
Hello, I'm Jorge from Spain.
Hello. Hi.
She is.
I'm Carmel.
This is Carmel.
Yes, I'm Carmel. Yeah, sorry. I forgot to say that part.
I'll upload this onto YouTube later so you can see it later. So you can see Carmel. He's in
Okay.
Dublin at the moment.
Yeah, I'm in Dublin. You might get there one day.
Okay, Carmel.
Okay. So,
Okay, so let me just go here so I can give you a good perspective.
right.
Okay, so basically can you see those plastic bags there by the road on the left?
I can see there's a plastic bag up to the front of my camera. Or no, the other ones, the row of them. Yeah, I can see them. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the row of them. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I can see the row.
basically, they've done from that road to about here. They've cleared the docks. So this whole piece of land was covered. They've cleared the docks, and they're going to continue clearing docks until the end. Can you see the end of the plastic?
Yeah. Okay, it's quite a lot. Yeah.
That's quite a lot. So
yeah,
my 20 square meters
yeah,
going to be in that corner there.
in that corner where where all the plastic bags are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it'll be there. It'll be just 20 square meters.
Okay.
And then with the rest of the land, the farm and the European Solidarity Corps volunteers are going to plant it, also using the no-dig method.
Okay.
Now, their no-dig method is going to be slightly different from ours. They're going to, it's what I was trying to explain to you.
Yeah.
I think it's because Liz, the grower, is helping them.
Yeah.
Let me turn the camera now onto me.
Okay.
Or
Yeah.
is there anything else you want me to show? Do you want me to?
No, because it's I have a sense of it now that it's quite wet looking. It's quite mucky looking.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah.
Actually, yeah. If you wanna ask about the soil, I could get you to talk to Torben, because I don't know what I could tell you about. I mean, you could ask me to touch it. Let me see. It sticks together.
It sticks together. Yeah.
It's dark.
Yeah.
It's quite clayey. It feels
quite
like
clay. Yeah, yeah. That's usually quite clay when it sticks together. That's usually a sign that it's quite clay. Yeah. And this was under plastic, wasn't it?
This was under plastic. Yes. Now the question, I suppose, one of the first things, I don't know, you tell me, that I'll need to do is to mark out 20 square meters around here somewhere.
Yes. Yes, it is. Yeah, I think that would be yeah, I think it would be a good idea for you to begin to think about marking it out. Yeah.
And how do I mark it out? Like, how do I measure it? Is there like a ruler? I have no idea how to do it.
Yeah, I mean, you could use a ruler, or you could measure your own foot and then take it from there.
Okay.
You know, or you can measure a stride. Like I often find as a rough, I mean, that just generally when I just do a sort of a normal stride, that each stride is a meter, for example, you know. So just measure your stride and get a sense of it, and try and get a meter stride and then stride. That's quite a nice way of doing it. I mean, obviously you could get down with a measuring tape. It depends on how fussy they are about that you only get to 20 meters squared or not.
They're not fussy. It's just,
I don't think so. I think it's just in general. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And so then when I mark it, Carmel, do I need to like make a boundary around it? Like what do I do?
Yeah, so maybe use some sticks. It might be a good idea just to get some sticks. Get some sticks from anywhere and start playing around with the sticks. So start like seeing where would I like paths and where would I like beds and what shape would I, you know, what size do I want my beds? And it's a really nice way of doing it with sticks, because you get that visual, you know, you know, and then you can step inside. So if you put in 4 sticks, like, and to make a bed, then you can step inside that, or you can stand beside it and say, okay, is there going to be a path there? Am I going to be able to reach over that? Do I want to be able to jump over that? You know.
Okay.
You know, so it's just a way of, because like you could decide that you want to do a very market garden where you have like long drills, like that are only maybe about 75 meters, or you could decide I want beds that are, you know, 1.2 meters, you know, and then I don't want them too long, but until you see I mean, I would spend a bit of time, if I were you, just measuring with your body.
Okay, feeling it.
Measuring with your arms,
inhabiting it.
measuring with your legs, you know, thinking about I would be walking along here maybe with buckets or, you know, to harvest later. How do I want that to be? You know, how do I want to access?
Okay.
I'm going to be going
So,
along here watering. Think about that. This is a place that I'm going to be moving around in. And I need my movements to be, I don't want them to be hindered, you know. I want it pleasurable. I want it, you know, think about
yeah.
those kind of things. I want it
Okay.
nice that I could just sort of walk in and do my little bit of, you know, weeding around my, you know, something, or, you know, just think of it in that way. That's the way I would get a feel of it.
Okay.
How does that sound?
That sounds good. And so,
Okay.
question, if we were to, let me go and put my headphones back on again
Okay.
so I can hear you better. If we were to create a design that would
Yeah.
be seen from a drone,
Yeah.
would we need to decide that now in terms of deciding the beds, or I imagine?
No, I think maybe like just similar like to the exploration with the movement. I think maybe trust a little bit of that because you could start with something and you can still change it slightly. Do you know, it won't have to stay rigid, you know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you know, so you can start. So
Okay.
just so I wouldn't worry about that too much, but because from a drone, I mean, it'll be really, I would think it should be more about color as well as shape. You know, it should be color as well as shape. So if you,
Okay, I have another question.
Yeah.
So I like this idea of kind of marking out the 20 square meters and then going inside and reaching out with my arms and start to think about maybe there's a section here, a section there. But what are the usual measurements for sections? I mean, is it usually in rows? And because I have no idea. Like, I don't know, it's 5 centimeters or 10 or 40
so some people would just go for like say 75 centimeter drills.
Okay.
Yeah, and then just go along, and they might like cut them at some, you know, they might cut them at, you know, depending 2 meters, 5 meters, depending what they wanted, you know, how many of them they wanted.
A drill is
and a drill is like
this.
It's like a long, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And other people would make more rectangular beds. You know, you could also make square beds, but rectangular usually. So that you'd be able to come in at them from different angles as well. And your paths, of course, are quite important. I mean, it might be fun just to like get yourself a book maybe and just start sketching a few shapes as well.
Okay, cool.
Do you know? And just see what it looks like on paper as well, just to see whether you like the look of things on paper.
Okay.
Great. You know, because there is, you know, because there's both aspects. There's how it looks, but there's also then how it has to be useful for you. You know, I suppose that's it's the aesthetic and the usefulness, isn't it? That matters. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense to me.
Does that make sense?
That makes sense. That'll be fun. I'll keep sending you some pictures as I go along.
You can, yeah, exactly. It would be really nice, I think, if you had a book and you just started. Yeah.
Okay, I have another question for you.
Okay.
So the soil at the moment, as you know, was covered.
Yeah.
They're taking the docks out.
The docks out, yeah.
And then I think what they're going to do is to get a fork, wide fork something.
A what?
A fork wide. Is there a tool called a wide fork?
Oh, I think I know the fork they're talking about. They're going to, because they want to go right down into the subsoil, do they?
They say they don't want to dig, but they want to do something on the surface that will do something.
That will kind of loosen up the soil, maybe?
Yeah.
So they just want to kind of go along and
just a little bit.
So like ruffle it up a little bit.
So in terms of soil, so I suppose I have two questions. This week, do you think my task should just be marking out and designing it, or should I do something to the soil to prepare it, like go around it with a fork, or do I need to feed the soil? Do I need to
So I think I think you actually need to do a fair bit this week in a way, But I
Okay,
think,
yeah.
like, so for me, the important thing is I'm thinking about where can you source material and what kind of material can you source? Like, so
Okay.
can you get compost? Can you get
Okay.
manure? Can you get
Yeah.
straw? Can you get
Yeah.
cardboard?
Yeah.
Can you get leaf mold? What,
Okay.
you know, it's like, for me, it's important to think about, like, what's your resource base there? Like, who's around, and you know,
Okay.
what are other people using, and what can you get your hands on? So could you, for example, get a bucket of a few different materials and bring it onto the site, you know, and maybe have a look at it
Yes.
then, do you know?
Yes.
So like you
Yes.
have a bucket of straw or a bucket of bedding from animals or whatever it is you can get your, you know,
Yeah.
chicken manure or whatever you can get your hands on, wood chip, leaf
Yeah.
mold, you know, so start bringing some materials like that and maybe just bring them in buckets and bring them onto the site and have a look
Okay.
at them, you know, bring some,
Okay.
gather some cardboard. And then
Okay.
that's like that's about sourcing. But then also I'm thinking, are you going to grow from seed, or
I
are
don't
you
know.
planning on, you haven't thought about that either? No. So that's, no, but that's, yeah.
Sorry, I don't know anything.
No, but that's good. I mean, that's fine. But it's just, you know, so have you access to seed? Is somebody going to, you know,
Yeah, I
can
do.
you buy
Yeah.
seed, borrow seed, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
that, yeah. And then also we'd also need to think about, well, what kind of things do you like to eat, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's like
Okay.
what makes you happy when you see a plate of vegetables, you know, like
Yes.
what things do you wish you had in your cupboard, you know, more of, or, you know,
Okay.
you know,
Great.
so so they're kind of, all those things are yeah, so there's quite a bit. So maybe, I don't
Quite
know
a bit.
whether, maybe some of this I maybe need to write down and send to you so
Yes,
that
I
you're,
think
it
that would
might
be
be better,
useful.
because yeah, I
Yeah.
think it might be useful that I gave you a
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
a clearer
Because
roadmap in that way. Yeah.
yeah, all those three things. So can I say this back to you to see if I understand? So there's like
Yeah.
4 things. First, mark up the site and think about a potential design.
Yeah.
Second, source materials, all those
Yeah.
materials that you've said,
Yeah.
which I think I can source easily because they're sourcing the same kinds of materials for the rest of
Yeah.
the no dig.
Possibly.
So I
Yeah.
can just, yeah. Third, do I go from seed, or what's the other option? It's little plants, yeah?
Yeah, which would mean then you'd have to be, like, somebody would have to give them to you, or you'd have to, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So again,
So
they
so if
might
they're
already,
growing, you know,
sorry.
if they're
Yeah.
growing in tunnels, or they might say you can have
Yeah.
10 of those or whatever,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Or they
Okay.
might say you can use the tunnel to do some sowing, or you might
Okay.
sow or you might start in your kitchen, because like if you're germinating seed, you can easily start in your kitchen. They only need
Okay.
and then you can move them out of the kitchen, you know.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So I'll do research on that. I'll find
Okay.
out what they have here already in terms of seed and what they've already sown in their polytunnels. And then the fourth thing, of course, is what do I like to eat? Like what
Yes.
we said, what makes me happy when I see a plate of food and all
Yeah.
those things. So is that those 4 things you think I should be working on this week? Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that's, and then maybe I don't know whether you want to have some kind of a, like, would you like some ideas of like what a snapshot of a year would look like, so that you'd have some
Yes.
choices? So for example, I'm thinking
Yes.
now, like if you're thinking now in the garden, like some people are still harvesting broccoli at this time, do you know, and you're going to be there for a
Right.
full year. So if you want to think, oh, well, I would like broccoli, you know, and I'd
I
like to
love
still be
broccoli.
taking up the last of my leeks, or,
Yeah.
you know, what would I like still in my stores, or, you know, so those kind of questions will dictate then maybe how you're planning ahead, you know, as well.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
know, so
So
it's
I
kind of
think,
nice to, so maybe a little bit of your research too might be to walk around and see what other people still have in their gardens, in their vegetable gardens. Is there anything still in the
yes.
gardens? Is anybody, you know,
Okay.
like
Yeah.
and then maybe think about things like herbs as well, you know. Because
Yeah.
I was thinking about you in terms of the bread making as well, that
Yeah.
it could be nice if you were growing some herbs that you could throw into bread, you know. So like,
Wow.
you know, like
Yes.
fennel seed and poppy seed, and, you know, so that you could think about those. That could be quite nice.
Really nice. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me ask you a
Okay.
question about the whole year thing. What I
Yeah.
can't get my head around, right?
Yeah.
And maybe we don't need to answer it now, but what I can't get my head around is, so I'll start it with you. So let's
Yeah.
say then we finish at the end of May.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, when the next grower comes to work with me,
Yeah,
beginning of June,
yeah,
is there stuff that also can be planted,
yeah.
or is June? Oh, okay. So Carmel, every season can you plant stuff or not?
Yes, pretty much.
Oh,
Pretty much.
really?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, not as much obviously in some seasons, but yeah, pretty much you can. So there is that possibility. And I was wondering whether like you can do succession growing so that we can start things that you're taking up maybe in June so that there's space for to plant out
Yes.
something new. But there's
Yeah.
also the possibility that we just say that we don't use it all in the beginning and that we say maybe we leave a summer bed. One of the other, we could do that either.
Okay.
I mean, it depends,
Okay.
But
Okay.
again, I think we need to discuss that, like
Okay. Yeah.
and then the other thing I was thinking about was it might be nice in when you're designing and when you're thinking about your designs as well, if you name your beds, like I don't mean name them after vegetables, but give them some kind of an essence, It could be
Oh,
nice just to give them
really?
some kind of, say this is my, grazing bed, because this is where I go
I
along and just can nibble from
see.
things or,
I see.
or
I see. I
something or,
see.
if,
Okay.
only if you want, or this
Okay.
is,
Yeah.
this is pink or this can be
Yeah.
whatever.
That's
This is
lovely.
jump or
That's
whatever.
great.
Yeah.
Great.
So
Okay. Well, I
how does
have
that sound?
yeah, great. I have quite a lot to get on with, but I can do it. So that sounds great.
It's doable. It's doable,
It's
huh?
doable. Okay.
It's doable. Okay.
So if you maybe write, I mean, I'll watch this again and I'll make proper notes, but if
Okay.
you write a little bit to me on like what I should be doing this week, I'll do the
Yeah.
same to you as well.
Okay.
And I'll put in all those links and stuff. Who's this
Okay.
one after me? And then we just take it away during the week and see how we're
Okay.
doing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Oh my God, this is so exciting.
We have begun.
We have done it. Okay, so I'm just
the Twilight Heart thing. It's like amplify.
oh yes. So I'm just turning my camera around to say goodbye.
Okay.
Bye
Goodbye.
everybody. We're finishing.
Bye bye. Don't work too hard. Okay.
Okay, Carmel, thank you so much.
Okay, just one last question. Are they digging up all your ducks as well?
Say again, sorry?
Are they digging up all your ducks as well?
Yeah, they've done it. I'm so lucky. They've done my bit.
Wonderful. Okay,
I was
great.
supposed to come and help them yesterday, but they changed the day because, of course, it was a better day on Tuesday. And Tuesday I was busy. So they said, oh, we're just digging up all your ducks. So, yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, yay. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Speak soon. Bye,
Okay.
bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, I will enjoy this evening.
Thank you.
Yeah.